Namaskar. Namaskar and welcome back to the Ekam series on the Gita on the Go. The last time when we were talking about the Vibhuti Yoga and we spoke about how that contemplation of which was the divine secret, the royal secret in the Rajavidya, Rajaguhya Yoga, we spoke about how that contemplation basically needs to be on something. And that's something Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, because as human beings, we need something to hold on to. We need to be able to visualize, see, experience something to feel its reality. And same is the true for Brahman. So therefore, when Arjun says, कि मैं श्रद्धा आ गई, भक्ति आ गया, विश्वास आ गया, मैंने ओमकारा पे भी contemplation कर लिया, but how do I experience and see the Brahman? How do I become Ananda? And so Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells him, ki bhai, good question, Arjun. So therefore, what you really need to do is to see the divine glory. See that, so lift up your vision, your contemplation from the mundane, lift up your little petty ego and take that leap of seeing the best, the most divine in everything. If you're in the Vedas, see the Samaveda. If you think you're getting lost in your Indriya, then contemplate on the Manasa. If you think that you're going to, that you're getting lost in the pots and how beautiful they are and how colorful they are and how they are of different shapes and sizes, lift yourself up and see the clay in all the pots. With that, we actually welcome you with the question that I have into chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the Vishwarupa Darshan. And therefore, I welcome Samir back to the Gita on the Go. And Samir, I understand that at this point of time, and we spoke about it last time, the fact that I can experience the divine, see the divine, taste that Amrita, rise beyond the ordinary and see the divine glory that this cosmos is so powerful, is so glorious, is so divine. It really lifts me up and elevates me. But I am still me, na? I am seeing it, I am experiencing it, I am feeling it. I may know all the knowledge. I may know, see, understand that. But I will come back to me, na? So two questions. One is, how do I become that? How do I become one? How do I go beyond me?
Very nice.
And therefore, linked to that, the second question, that now that I have gone beyond me, risen above my own self, how do I stay there? And we touched upon it very briefly last time.
So, Eka, that was a wonderful question. And I'm a storyteller, I love analogies, so I'm going to give you an analogy. Let's say that there was a toy maker. He used to make toys or dolls out of wax. So there are dolls of girls dancing, some boys playing and all sorts of things. How can you see them? Okay, you can see them when he puts them up on the shelf, right?
Yes.
For display.
Yes.
But what you see is going to be colored by the sort of pane or the reflection on the pane that you can see. So suppose you're seeing it in bright daylight,
yes,
you will see something different.
Yes.
If you're seeing it at night, it will be different.
Yes.
Right?
Or if the cupboard has red glasses, then it will be different.
Perfect, right? So when we see these through our perceptions, we are never seeing the truth. That's number one, right? I'll continue the analogy. Now, why are there two dolls? Because the two dolls haven't got fused into one. Now, if the toy maker so desires, can he take all the dolls and punch them together into one ball of wax?
Yes, that's where they started, didn't they?
Right? And what will you see over there? You will see some faint impressions of a Ganesh, of a Durga, of a girl playing with a ball, a boy with a cricket bat. You will see some faint impressions.
Yes.
But essentially, it all became one.
One wax.
And only the impressions are only on the surface.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Your question was, when I see that mountain and I experience,
yes,
the moment you say experience, there are three things happening.
Yes.
There is an experience, there is an experiencer,
yes,
and there is that which is experienced.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
The reality is that it can't be, right? I mean, we've established that through chapter 9 and chapter 10 that there is something that is underlying all this change.
Yes.
Now I'm going to ask you a different question. Did we talk about these cups?
Yes, very pretty cups they are.
Thank you.
I can see the clay in these cups.
That's my question. Now, if I had given you clay and not the pot, and I had asked you to visualize all possible cups in it, would it be possible for you? Think. I give you a further example. I give you a lump of gold. Can you think of all possibilities that can come out of that gold?
Okay. So, when I see the glory or the best or the clay in the pot, in that moment, and we spoke about time. We spoke about time earlier when we said that time is only now and there's no concept of a longer time, right? In that moment, I can only see the clay in all the pots or the
Correct.
gold in all the ornaments at that given point of time.
Correct.
If you're asking me to flip my perspective and see the gold and see all the possible ornaments or the clay and all the possible pots, I possibly can. It's a stretch. But even at that point of time, I'm not seeing the truth, right? I'm still seeing just the pots and all the clay. Or the gold, or the jewelry and all the gold. Right?
No, but my question is all the jewelry. All possibilities of jewelry, things that you have not even imagined even now.
So how does that happen? How do I go beyond my own experience and
that
imagination?
is, and the moment you go beyond your experience and imagination, what have you done? You have made yourself unlimited, right? The first poem of the Gitanjali. Can I say it in Bengali?
Yes, please.
Amare tumi ashim korecho. Amare tumi ashim korecho. Thou hast. In the English, it doesn't even.
No, it doesn't even begin to.
Thou hast made me endless. Gitanjali, the first poem. That endless comes from going beyond the limitations of imagination, of visualization. Now, how does Krishna do that? See, and like you and I right now, Arjuna is also limited. And he says, how can that happen? And he says, here is the flip in the perspective. That flip in the perspective, he uses a word saying Divya Chakshu.
Yes.
And what has happened in popular TV is that you get rays coming out and the eyes changing and all that. That's not what was being talked about. It's actually a complete change in perspective to say, I have made my vision unlimited. And when he says that, and he now looks at Krishna, he sees something unimaginable. It's not something that we can speak of. I'm going to give you a simple example, right? You have flown down from Delhi.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you something. Imagine for me, for a moment, the distance between here in Mumbai to Delhi. Can you do that?
Yes.
Now I am asking you, imagine the distance up to Moscow.
Stretch.
Now imagine the distance up to Pluto.
No.
No. The answer is no.
जो हम maths में कहते हैं ना, that parallel lines meet at infinity.
What is infinity?
Oh, so it's fascinating, right? When you look at two parallel lines and we say they never meet, the whole mathematical construct is of saying that they meet because there is one source. And this is in maths. This is not philosophy.
Which in the Ishavasya Upanishad,
Yes.
the invocation says, Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, right?
Yes.
From the whole, that is the whole, this is the whole, and from when you take away from the whole, what remains? Only the whole. Only the whole. That vision, where I do not exist. Even I don't exist. Arjuna, when he sees that Vishwarupa, he's saying, I can see myself in it. And I am not there. It's all you. It's all, I mean, he's lost word for words. And he says, it's all it. Can I read out?
Please.
Right. He says, Aneka Bahu Daravatra Netram, Aneka Bahu, millions of hands, right? Millions of stomachs, millions of eyes. Pashyami tvam sarvatonanta rupam. I can see your ananta rupa, ananta. You can't imagine the distance from here to Pluto, and he is now actually seeing the distance from here to the farthest galaxy and seeing it all in his palm of his hand. Right? He goes on to say, Nantam na madhyam na punastavadim pashyami Vishweshwara Vishwarupa. The beauty of this, the power of this, it's unimaginable. It is beyond imagination, and that is why it is Vishwarupa. The Vishwarupa Darshan has become very popular because of the movie and the quote and all of that. It's not that. It's the entirety of all being as it is today, right now.
That is when I become one.
Because, go back to the toy maker. Why are you and I different? Because there's space between us.
Yes.
If there is no space between us, if the atoms have merged, if the molecules have merged, if everything has merged physically, then what happens? There is only one. This whole drive of every being, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad very beautifully says that it is not, the husband loves the wife not because they are two, but because their Atman is one. The mother loves the son not because there are two and there is a mother and son relationship, but because the Atman is the one, and they instinctively, we all instinctively
seek to merge.
And Krishna on chapter 11 in Vishwarupa Darshan takes us to that vision.
Samir, this is so beautiful, and here's the way I'm seeing it. कि जब हमने Vibhuti Yoga किया था, and Arjun was saying, and Bhagwan Shri Krishna so beautifully tells him कि देखो अगर contemplation करना है, अपने से ऊपर उठना है, you want to elevate yourself, just focus on the glory. Just focus on that which is, just contemplate, not even focus, contemplate on that which is the most glorious, because as human beings, we need something to hold on to, right?
Correct.
And so have the ability to see the clay and the nature of the clay in all the cups and all the pots. And why that is so beautiful is because when we started the 11th Adhyaya and we spoke about Vishwarupa Darshan, my provocation to you was that yahan to tab bhi main hi hu na. I am still, like you said, I am the experiencer, there is the experienced, and between the two of us, there is some kind of an experience that is happening, but I am still separate from this. And this is just so beautiful that Bhagwan Shri Krishna says that, dekho, abhi I have elevated you so that you can see the clay in all the pots. You're still looking outward. But just then tum wo vision flip kar lo, and you can see all the possible pots and the possibilities in that clay. उस दिन तुम्हें विश्व और विश्वरूप दिख जाएगा. So all that needs to, it's just so overwhelming to know that all that needs to happen is that boundary which is me, that is all that I need to do. I need to be able to see me in you and be able to see you in me and diffuse that boundary. And then you're saying the whole cosmos, the experience, the experiencer, it really is all just...
So I have a question to you, right? You've been working in the corporate world. How do we use this in the corporate world now? Because people ask this question, right?
I can think of multiple ways actually that it just changes that whole, from deja vu to Vuja Day. It just changes the perspective.
I mean, for me, this is also the concept of empathy, isn't it? I mean, I can feel what you feel, I can experience what you experience because I truly am you. It's not I have stepped into your shoes. I truly am you.
Samir, I'm saying आप तो बहुत ही elevated level of empathy, compassion, experience, karuna में जा रहे हैं आप. I'm saying even at the most mundane level, I'm saying that was the second question I started this prompt with, to say how do I keep it sustained. But usko agar hata bhi dein, even right now in this moment, the expectation that I can feel you, see you, be you, you and I are one, मैं तो कह रही हूँ वो भी बहुत elevated है. If in this moment all that I can do is go beyond myself and even be true to the experience, go beyond being the experiencer to becoming the experience. just, be purpose focused, project focused, what's good for the job, not what's in it for me, but what's right by the job. हम उतना ही कर लें. And I think that is what Vibhuti Yoga was. Now this is next level of saying कि ये कर लिया तुमने अगर बहुत बढ़िया. अब इसके आगे अगर तुम्हें, you just want the cosmos, you want to be the cosmos. Just imagine the possibilities. Or go beyond imagination.
And that is the point. Vishwarupa, the word Vishwa means the universe, right? And it includes that which is manifest, it includes that which is unmanifest, it includes that which has not yet manifested.
It's just
all of it, right? It includes what was there. So the whole of it, the past, and Arjuna talks about it. I can see what has happened in the past, I can see what is happening in the future, I can see what is happening right now. I can see you eating up the Kauravas. It's a gruesome sight, right? He's seeing death. And yet, he's seeing constant rebirth of life. He's seeing galaxies burst out of white holes. He's seeing galaxies dissolving into black holes. He's actually seeing all of that as in one capsule there in front of him.
That Arjun ke liye, from where we started Arjun's journey with the Arjun Vishada Yoga and, haath pair kaap rahe hain, or this is
Sinani Mamagatrani.
And while there's a part of me that is yearning to be Arjun, there's part of me that's also terrified at the prospects. I mean, isn't that why I hold myself back?
Very true. Now this is, and I'm so happy you asked this, because you see, Arjun's journey is exactly like Arjun. This is not a functional reality. In this state, I can't function in this world, right? I'm in that world and that's it. The journey ends.
Yeah.
But then the journey has to continue because there is a physical body, there is a physical mind, there is a physical intellect. And I'm saying physical because they're all part of the material world. How do I work with that? And Arjun is also terrified. To use your word, he's terrified because, see, this is so beyond your experience that I can't absorb it, I can't grasp it.
No.
Right? And therefore I need
My
something.
existence is too insignificant.
And that hurts somewhere. It also is that I'm dissolving and therefore, what will I now do?
Yeah.
So what happens is Arjuna gets terrified and he says, "Oh, 1,000-armed one." And 1,000 arms is just a number, right?
Yes.
I mean, if you look at the Purusha Sukta, he says, Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasrakshasa. Sahasra Shirsha would mean he should have
2,000
eyes. Why does he say 1,000 is just a number, very large number.
It's like engineering mein kya karte the na, 1,000. Anything more than 5 is 1,000.
so here he says, "Oh, 1,000-armed one, I can't see you like this. I am so terrified. I can't function. I can't be in this functioning world like this. Can you please condense yourself into that which with I can relate?" Let me read out. He says, "Kiritin gadin chakrahastam ichhami tvam drishtam aham tathaiva tenaiva rupena chaturbhujena sahasrabhavo bhava vishwamurte." Oh Vishwamurti, oh 1,000-hand one, please come back with your crown, with your 4 hands, holding the chakra, holding the gada.
With the form I know.
With the form I know.
Come
back to that which I understand. Come back to which I can hold.
Which I can comprehend, hold, be mine.
But yet, look at the form. 4 hands. The 4 components of us, the physical material elements, the buddhi, manas, and the ego, is the 4 hands of Krishna. The blueness is this entire cosmos. The yellowness is the earth on which we stand, the pitambara that he wears. This is the form that I can imagine and see. I worship Devi. So for me, if I was in front of Vishwarupa, I would have said, "Please come back to the 10-handed form where I see you so beautiful, smiling at me with 3 eyes, with riding on a lion." Because that's what you relate to. However, I asked you a question last time. Can you see the clay in every pot? And you said, yes, we can get there. But can you see each decoration on each pot? Can you name every pot? And we understand we can't. No. Why can't you? Because you, as Jiva, are the wave. The ocean. Now, if something happens in the Pacific Ocean, Obviously, yes, we experienced that.
It's the same
The Pacific
water.
Ocean had a tsunami, Chennai suffered,
Yes.
right? Ocean lives and experiences every jiva in its entirety. That Ishvara, I can only relate to the Bay of Bengal. So I give it a name and form and I call it Bay of Bengal.
Bengal.
Right? You see the Arabian Sea, you say the Arabian Sea or the Pacific Ocean. Right? Each one of us is working with a name and form that we relate to. That we relate to. So the Vishwarupa has to then come back to the Ishvara with which I can relate. And therefore, I rise from where? From Ishvara. Where do I merge into? Into Ishvara. But I can never be Ishvara.
So the best that you can do, Sameer, is move from being the drop perspective to the wave perspective. From the particle perspective, अगर तुम wave perspective भी ले लो.
I will go further. What is Ishvara made up of? Water. In our analogy, it's made up of water.
Yes.
Ishvara is the ocean.
Yes.
What is the wave made up of?
Water.
Can I move to the point where I say, I am water? That comprises of all of this. That's what this book does.
But where and this is I'm saying that उतना भी ना कर पाए.
हाँ ठीक है. उसको हम लोग जीवबोध बोलते हैं. Technically, जीवबोध का मतलब होता है I have moved from understanding that I am me to understanding that there is a something that I have arisen from something and I will merge into.
So I'm part of a larger cosmos, which is let's say the wave in our example. The Vishwarup in that context is being I'm water.
Yes.
मतलब वहाँ तक पहुँच जाओ तो आप इतने realized हो चुके हो that it would be difficult to then be here without.
So therefore, what Sri Krishna and through this Arjuna's question comes back to that particular form with which Arjuna is able to relate and Arjuna works with.
So we might work with and relate to the form there is, but we do this with the awareness and the consciousness.
That completeness, I'm loving where you're going.
That I am the Brahman.
Yes.
That Aham.
Yes.
Brahmasmi.
Yes. So therefore, somebody told you.
Sameer, that is too much awareness and consciousness to hold in this space, this body and this time.
And therefore, here comes the concept of how do I then relate to that condensed form. How do I relate to that condensed form? How do I use that condensed form to be in constant touch with what is beyond that constant form? Let me use Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa's example here. He was a Devi worshipper. His form that he used to worship Devi in was in the form of Kali. But he realized that it is the name and form of Kali that is holding him back from this experience that Arjuna has. And therefore he describes in his own words, I took the sword of discrimination from her hand and I cut her into two pieces and I entered. There was nothing but golden waves of bliss. This is what he says. So that name and form. And then post that, did he continue to worship the Bhavatarini of Dakshineshwar? Of course he did.
Of course he did.
Knowing fully well that she is only a symbol. That's where we move.
This is so beautiful. You know, last time when we did Vibhuti Yoga, मुझे लगा था कि ये तो climax हो गया कि भाई अब तो I've experienced, seen the divine, अब क्या और क्या हो सकता है. And now when you say this, I'm thinking विश्वरूप देख लिया, दर्शन देख लिया, अब मतलब और क्या बचा? And therefore, I'm really looking forward to exploring the rest of the Bhagavad Gita together, especially as we move immediately after this into chapter 12. Thank you, Sameer.
Hari Om Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Vishwarupa Darshana Yogo Nama Ekadasho Yat Adhyayah Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Na 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 na